spoken. I said,
Yes.
"Oh, that trucker, that trucker." She shook her head no twice and started to calligraph again. I said, "Mom, you got to say something. You got to say something." Oh, it was horrible.
An effort to expel DFL Minnesota State Senator Nicole Mitchell failed in the chamber yesterday. Republican Senator Jordan Rasmussen of Fergus Falls introduced the motion to expel Mitchell, who last year was charged with burglary. However, the effort collapsed due to a procedural technicality that blocked the motion along a party line vote of 33 to 33. Because again, they're on the third rail. They all have their own rules. They're different rules than we have. Rasmussen said, in addition to the burglary charges, Mitchell has abused her position in the Senate to force a delay in a trial that would provide closure and justice for a real victim. In response to the block motion, GOP Senator Mark Johnson said Mitchell is abusing her status as a senator. Last year, we heard time and time again how she deserves her day in court before we can decide on her status, and she has played both the judicial system and the Senate rules to her own and only her own advantage. I find that to be an accurate statement. Earlier this month, a judge granted Mitchell's motion to delay her trial until after the legislative session. Trial was supposed to start yesterday, but now it will start within 60 days of May 19. Okay, let's say that this senator's name was Nick Mitchell, and he was a police officer who broke into his stepmother's home to steal items, and that he scared the hell out of the stepmother when he was found dressed all in black, crawling around the stepmother's bedroom. Would the police officer, who's also a legislator, named Nick Mitchell, would he be getting this kind of treatment? Staff?
I think you're getting the big red family feud red X.
No.
Try again.
This used to be a hell of a state, didn't it? I'm being very serious. It was a hell of a state. Going back to the days when Wendy Anderson held up the walleye on the cover of Time magazine. It was a hell of a state. Now we got an alleged criminal in the Senate. We got a DFL legislators refuse to work at the House. We've got the worst governor in the history of the worst governor currently in the country. We've got untold amounts of fraud that still have yet to be discovered, not to mention that the fraud that is known exceeds $500 million. We've blown an $18 billion surplus. We're building a $1 billion unneeded new office building. And I guess what conclusion we might draw from all that is it surprising that Nicole Mitchell is just taking her seat in the Senate despite these charges and a trial awaiting her? Are we supposed to excuse her because of the nature of the crime? Are we supposed to cut her some slack? And if we are, then introduce the name of police officer Nick Mitchell. Would he be introduced to similar slack? Or would he be really gone after because he was an evil, hated cop? The DFL would try to string him up.
Go ahead, Ken.
They would.
Go ahead, Ken.
Let me turn this around and throw it right back at you, and I'm asking you and only you and not the GLers or constituents or voters. Would you feel the same way if it was male or female, but on the GOP side of the aisle?
Yes, of course I would.
Okay, I kind of knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I want some character. I want some adults. I want some responsibility. I don't want this game being played with these adult children.
Joe, it's we can't go back to that. You can never go back to that. It's too far. We're too far gone. This is where we're at.
I'm sorry Nicole Mitchell has this whatever dilemma she's facing with her extended family. That's not my problem. And it shouldn't be the problem of the people she represents. She shouldn't be representing them now. She's not fit.
I keep hearing Pat Garofalo in my brain saying, I will accept the court's decision. I don't know if he, in fact, says that in this case, but he has said that about other issues. The Shakopee
he didn't.
tab key thing.
He hasn't weighed in on this issue.
You mentioned the fraud thing, and I was going to bring this up yesterday because she was posting a bunch of stuff. But
Who was?
Marion O'Neill Rarick.
Yes.
She says, this is posted yesterday. There's another one I'll read shortly. Fun fact, if Democrats had shown up to work right now at this very moment, we would be having the first ever Fraud Prevention and State Agency Oversight Committee hearing. It was supposed to start today, meaning yesterday, at 8:15 a.m. Another fun fact. Last Friday, January 24th at 4:06 p.m., the Minnesota Supreme Court rules quorum to convene the House of 68, which stopped the first ever hearing of the Fraud Prevention Committee. I'm sure the two are not related.
Mm-hmm. Remember, she told us that she was really looking forward to Monday because the fraud hearings were going to start. Back to Mitchell. Earlier this month, a judge granted Mitchell's motion to delay her trial. Until after the legislative session. Is the judge playing politics? Is he merely being kind?
Is there precedent he's following?
I have no idea.
Right.
The trial was set to begin, as I said yesterday. Mitchell pleaded not guilty to first-degree burglary. This is going back to last August now, and has denied wrongdoing. I don't know how she could deny that. She was caught in the house.
Right. I'm not good at this thing.
I do remember
Right.
we came up with that. She just wasn't a very good burglar.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, but she admitted that.
That's what
She's the one that said it. Yes.
while being arrested.
She did have the good outfit, though. She had the right outfit.
It wasn't quite Catwoman, you know?
Yeah.
According to the criminal complaint, Mitchell admitted to police she broke into her stepmother's home in Detroit Lakes last April. So we're going on a year here. Last April to retrieve some of her late father's personal items, including his ashes. Okay. DFL House Minority Leader Melissa Hortman reiterated her call on Monday for a previously negotiated. Don't tell me I'm doing a different story again.
It's all, in this case, I personally think it's all about the judge. I believe that if this had happened to a GOP member, the GOP would behave the same way that the DFL is behaving. And the question is, what would the judge do? And there's no way of knowing that.
Oh, I found the page I'm looking for.
Did I fill enough for you?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. I don't expect a response
professional.
from you because I know you weren't listening.
Okay, that's a professional.
Well, and why wasn't I listening? Because I was trying to find the right piece of paper.
Lack of show prep. No, I mean, you were looking for the right.
Not a lack of show prep, it's too much show prep. How's that?
Yeah.
An expulsion vote against Mitchell failed last year, though the DFL did remove her from committees and caucus meetings. Rasmussen, who brought this expulsion move, said that action means Mitchell has forfeited her ability to effectively represent her constituents. Well, that certainly stands to reason. If she's not on a committee and she doesn't attend caucus meetings, she's useless to the people of Woodbury.
Correct.
Before the vote, DFL Senator Nick Frentz spoke in support of Mitchell and asked Senate President Bobby Joe Champion, who sounds like he should have something on the top 40.
I think so.
Yeah.
Hey, Bobby Joe Champion.
To find Rasmussen's motion out of order. This member of the Senate has not had her day in court, Frentz said.
What's taking so long?
Well, because she keeps delaying it, Frentz. Because of the vacancy caused by DFL Kerry Dietzig's death, that vote is taking place as we speak to replace Kerry Dietzig's seat. The balance of power in the Senate is 33-33. Dietzig's seat will be filled today. It favors Democrats, of course, because
likely.
people they just keep voting in the wrong people. Mm-hmm. In a visible sign of dysfunction in the Capitol's other gallery, House Democrats continue to boycott the session, with Republicans unable to do anything official after the state Supreme Court ruled that since there are 134 seats, a quorum is reached once a single party has 68. Oh, then I'm wrong. The quorum can only be reached if all seats are filled
Correct.
and one half of the room has either 68 or more seats.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one more body, a Democrat showing up wouldn't do the trick.
Wouldn't help.
No.
And even if one was in jail.
Hey now.
Well, that's the Senate.
That's the Senate.
The Senate
just
half,
making
I
a
know,
joke.
I know. The
Sorry.
Senate half of this dust up is in jail. Never mind. It's not in jail. It should be in jail.
What about the cop?
Well, I let him go.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The answer to the Nicole Mitchell thing, somebody said what the judge based it on. Apparently, there's a statute that reads, the member, officer, or attorney may, with the consent of the body of the legislature of which the person is a member, officer, or employee, waive this privilege. So in other words, the vote. The cause or proceeding, motion, or hearing may then be tried or heard at a time that will not conflict with legislative duties. So basically that says if the legislature votes to keep her, which she was part of the vote of, then she's fine, and then you can waive the date.
Well, there's a perfect example, ladies and gentlemen, of the once great state of Minnesota, that these people are not living, once they walk through the doors of the State House, they are not living by the rules that the rest of us
Like
live
a
by.
magic filter.
Yeah. And she voted. She took part in the vote
She was, yeah.
to keep herself in her seat.
Do you think she did
you
one
could
of these?
say she was the deciding vote,
Yeah.
really. It was
Yeah.
33-33.
Do you think she was mulling it over, going, oh, boy, I don't
Wonder-
know.
Yeah, what's going to happen here?
Joe,
kind of a tough
Joe,
one.
we're sorry, Joe. We're going to go in a different direction. We've decided to fire you. What's your input on that?
I vote no.
Yeah, okay, you're staying. I
guess I'm
sorry,
staying.
sorry, I brought it up.
See, I'd say, yeah, I can kind of see that. I think, yeah. You guys, that's a good call for you guys.
So you keep saying that people keep voting for the wrong people, and you could say that. I mean, that's local, statewide, and national. Both sides are saying that. You know, why did you idiots vote for this
Well,
candidate?
I can clean that up. It's not that we're voting for the wrong people. The country is having a hard time getting people of character to run for office.
Okay, thank you. I don't even have to ask the rest of the question.
Yeah.
And it's I would say the party's fault for endorsing those bad candidates during the primary process, is it not?
Well, the DFL loves this because it keeps them in power.
Yeah.
They've
All
got
right.
they've got an activist base that keeps funneling new crops of activists into the state capitol or onto city councils.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Wow.
It should be noted, I noticed somebody on YouTube said she's not showing up. Well, everybody's showing up at the Senate.
Yeah.
She's there at the
Yeah.
Senate. It's the House.
Yeah.
So the Dems aren't showing
Yeah,
up.
she was there
yeah.
to vote to save her own self.
Exactly.
Speaking of that Senate race, that election 60A, that's right now, today.